Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. This time, I will be talking about my 10 favorite coaster models. So let's just jump right into this. I've been on 236 coasters all across the United States, and been on many models of coasters, but I've definitely found ones that I prefer, whether it's because they have a fun gimmick, or something unique, or just a really diverse model. In this video, I will be listing my top 10, but they won't be in any order. Let's start off with a bit of a rare model, and that is the B&M Wing Coaster. This is a wacky coaster model with weird shaping, but it's fun. I've only been on 2 out of the 4 currently operating in America, and those are Gatekeeper at Cedar Point and Wild Eagle at Dollywood. Both of these coasters are unique. With Gatekeeper, you have the amazing wing over and powerful Immelman to kick off the ride, before the graceful hill and rolls with head choppers, before some more power in the finale. Whereas Wild Eagle is even more about the grace, just gliding along the mountaintop, with a straight down drop and vertical loop. This model is just unique and different, and I can't wait for Rapterra to open at King's Dominion and ride it because it looks like a lot of fun. Also, Phoenix, I'm not sure which, at Toverland looks like an amazing wing coaster as well. Next up, we have a more common model in the RMC Hybrid. This coaster model is kind of repetitive, but still kind of diverse. I've been on 8 out of the 12 currently operating in the US, with my favorite being Iron Gwazi, followed by RE Force, followed by IRAT. These three are definitely different from each other, with similar shaping and elements. But Iron Gwazi focuses more on displaying insane positive Gs with some ejector and whip. RE Force focuses more on whippy transitions and some ejector airtime. And Iron Rattler displays speed and some positives. Other hybrids are also different, but similar to each other, like Steel Vengeance and Twisted Timbers. But regardless, this is still a really fun and crazy coaster model. Now we have the GCI Woodies, specifically the more modern ones. I've been on 4 Woodies by GCI, and they are all different from each other. We have Mystic Timbers at Kings Island. This is just a crazy out and back Woody with ridiculous ejector airtime that is just out of control the whole way through the woods. Then you have Thunderhead at Dollywood, which has crazy laterals and ejector airtime through the whole twisted layout. Then on the other coast, we have Apocalypse at Magic Mountain, which has some ejector and good laterals, but focuses on positive G-forces. And then there is the Retract Ghost Rider, which is very lateral heavy and has a couple pops of ejector. I also forgot about American Thunder at Six Flags St. Louis. I don't remember this coaster very well, but I remember it being a lot of twisted fun, some good laterals and positives, but not much airtime. The newer ones overall are a great model, and I can't wait to try out their new train type on Zambezi Zinger. Following that, we have the Mach Multi-Launch Coaster. Many people say the launches on these are weak, but at least on Copperhead Strike, the launch was pretty punchy last year. This year, not quite as much, but still not as weak as everyone says. But Copperhead is so much fun, with a nice mix of hang time, whip, and ejector airtime, with some of the best restraints ever created. The ride is so smooth and fun, and an amazing but small coaster. Then you have the new Stardust Racers, which looks like it's going to be amazing. And then there's Helix at Liseberg, which just looks phenomenal. Icon looks like a lot of fun, and so does Star Trek Operation Enterprise. Plus Steel Taipan with its amazing spinning seat also just looks amazing. And Manta, I've been on over at SeaWorld San Diego. The last few ones out of the country I haven't been on, but Manta was fun. That was my 100th credit. And it was tame, but just nice and smooth. Also, Voltron, even though it's the Striker model, still a multi-launch and looks absolutely phenomenal. Next up is the B&M Dive model. This is a really fun model with a gimmick. The first drop is always packed with ejector airtime, especially on Dr. Diabolical with the Beyond Vertical drop, which has even more whip. Vest restraints on the newer ones are super comfortable, and the ones with the mid-course have the amazing second vertical drop. The rides also have a nice diversity within the layouts. Valraven with the hang time filled roll after the whippy dive loop and intense helix before a good airtime hill. Then Emperor with no mid-course and good inversions that has great pacing. Dr. Diabolical's second half is awesome with the great helixes and the triangle airtime hill. And then you have some of the old school ones like Griffin and Shikra that are graceful, have some funny transitions, but yet pull really good positive G-forces. The next model is the RMC Raptor. This is such a fun and whippy model that tries to rip your head off. I've been on both versions of the model. I've been on the prototype Wonder Woman Golden Lasso coaster, and that was outright insane. The pacing is just crazy, and the trains weren't the best, but it now has the new train, so it should be better. But the Serpentine maneuver was awesome, and then the whippier turns and tight barrel roll were all amazing on this. Then you have the larger model in Jersey Devil coaster, which again was awesome. The ride was still whippy, especially in the Raven turn and the turn around above the station. Then the rest of the ride had great ejector airtime between the first drop and the amazing finale. This model is really diverse and a lot of fun. Now we have the B&M Hyper / Giga model. I've ridden most of this model that exists in the US, and I absolutely love every single one of them except Goliath at Over Georgia. That one's trash. The original Apollo Chariot is so much fun with the terrain interactions, and Nitro is just packed full of airtime. Then you have the larger train models like Thunderstriker at Carowinds, which had borderline sustained ejector and was absolutely amazing this year. Plus it was pulling crazy forces. And Diamondback, which is the other big train model, was also running phenomenally this year, with amazing sustained floater and great forces in the final helix. Then you have other ones, like the amazing Mako at SeaWorld Orlando, which is packed with Flowjector airtime and good whip on the turns. Then there are the Gigas, which I've ridden both in the US. Orion, which has forces in all the valleys with some decent airtime and whip, and that speed hill is amazing. Then there's the absolute beast of a coaster in Fury 325. This thing is running phenomenally this year, with amazing airtime on every element, absolutely insane forces in the valleys, and just a phenomenal showcase of speed that is unmatched. Then, on all of these coasters, you add in the smoothness and amazing restraints that are so freeing. Next up is the Mach Extreme Spinner. This is a very rare model, but is absolutely amazing. Time Traveler is just crazy with the vertical drop right out of the station while spinning, before the hang time filled dive loop and twister section, before a punchy launch. Then you have the high turn and hang time filled vertical loop, then a crazy twisting hill and whippy corkscrew, before the absolutely insane bunny hop, into the second launch, and 2 final turns to end out the ride. All of this is done while spinning, which just adds so many weird and unique forces and sensations to the ride. Plus you have Ride to Happiness in Europe, which looks like a top 3 worthy coaster easily, with the JoJo roll, top hat, barrel rolls, banana roll, and just a mix of crazy other elements. And again, the spinning just looks downright phenomenal on that one, even crazier than Time Traveler. And I found these restraints and trains to be the most comfortable I've experienced. Next model is the SNS 40 Free Spin / Aero 4th Dimension coaster. I just lumped these two together because the Aero version sparked the SNS Free Spin, so the 4D Free Spin is such a fun model. Every ride is completely unique with just crazy airtime-ish sensations, and it's just crazy the whole way through with the somersaulting sensations. And honestly, the ride is just a ton of fun, and I always come off of one of these smiling. Then there is the Aero 4th Dimension coaster, which is the most insane ride experience I've ever been on. X2 is packed full of forces and whip on all the transitions, and it is just the most insane and out-of-control coaster experience I've ever ridden, especially with that straight-down drop. That is just crazy. Now, last but certainly not least, we have the Intamin Blitz. These coasters are so diverse and so much fun. You have the original and Maverick, which has great launches and crazy snappy transitions. Then you have Cheetah Hunt, which is a tamer family coaster that still has good launches and some airtime with nice swooping elements and a little bit of whip. Then you have some of the newer models like Pantheon with a phenomenal swing launch that is truly amazing, especially with that mid-launch airtime hill. Plus good floating inversions and an amazing top hat, plus a massive Outer Banks hill with good speed. Then you have the amazing Velocicoaster, which is easily my favorite coaster, with a great twister section packed with whip forces and airtime in the first half, before an amazing launch that sends the train flying into a massive top hat for the second half. The top hat is amazing and the stall has good speed, plus the double helix is diverse and fun. Then the phenomenal Mosasaurus roll over the lake with upside down airtime, and then the amazing whippy double up to finish off the ride. The newer gen trains are amazing and so freeing, plus all of them are so smooth and every launch is just great. Then you have Totatus, Taiga, Terran, and Batman overseas, which all look like just amazing blitz coasters as well. But those are my 10 favorite coaster models. All of them are absolutely amazing, and they are all so different from one another. But that's all for this time, and we'll see you all next time on another adventure.